For Singapore to remain competitive and sustain the position as one of the leading biomedical sciences hub in Asia, the biggest assets we have is actually PIN. And what do I mean by PIN? First, it has to be the people in Singapore. Biomedical sciences industry is driven by knowledge, and in Singapore, that's probably the only resources that we have. I think we need to continue to make sure that we train Singaporeans, train the people who are in Singapore, and attract the best talent into Singapore in order for us to remain competitive. Second thing, we need to basically have the good, robust IP infrastructure. Because biomedical sciences industry, it is a knowledge-intensive industry, the IP framework and the ability to provide security of the knowledge, the intellectual property is absolutely important. And I think this is what is going to attract people who want to come to work here in Singapore to monetize their knowledge. Last but not least, Singapore cannot do it on our own. We need the networks. And the networks is absolutely important because science is global, and we just need to ensure that we tap onto the major hubs in the world, bring in the best knowledge, share knowledge, and using that network to help us to commercialize and leverage on that to generate economic activity. Absolutely. I think there's no question to that. One is that we know, again, biomedical sciences is a knowledge-driven industry, and it's all about the people. So while we cannot really predict what the future is going to look like for the industry, but what we can assure ourselves today is to build the people for the future. So investing in education, in people, is probably the best thing we can do to ensure the success of the industry moving forward. To have assets in Singapore is great because when you think about biomedical sciences, it's not all about basic research. It's not all about translational research, but you need people who understand how to bridge the gap between basic research and the commercial. And I think, and how do you bring the solution all the way to the hospital, to the patients? And I think this is obviously a gap that the ESSEC can actually help us to plug in Singapore by training people who understands the system, who understands commercial, who understands the hospital management. I think that's essentially what we need today. I think it's great to have the healthcare decision forums like this because today, generally, there is a gap between the government and the industry, people from the private sector. There is a general mistrust, and I think a lot of it is due to the lack of awareness, the lack of dialogue. I think to have an environment like this where it is very neutral in an academic setting, it does help people to talk a lot more freely, to express their views without any prejudices. And I think this is great because this is the great first step to bring us closer into convergence.